Hello, I'm Shannon,
And I'm Laramie.
and we are Hot Moms and Hormones.
Indeed. What was your favorite toy growing up, Shan? Growing up, not now. Were you like a Barbie or
I
a.
had Barbie, I had Rainbow Bright, I had
What was
Pound
your
Puppies,
favorite?
I had probably Care Bears.
Care Bears, really?
Yep.
Which one was your favorite?
My favorite was
Punch a
always
Bitch Bear?
yep, was Sunshine Bear, and that's because um my mom was going to name me Sunshine.
Stop it.
Yep,
Like your birth name was going to be
was going to be
Sunshine?
Sunshine, yes, and then
Sunshine Brooker?
yep, I don't know what my middle name was going to be or anything, but it was going to be Sunshine. Call me Sunny for short. And so I just kind of,
Why didn't you?
because the man she was married to named me Shannon.
And then had another daughter named Shannon?
No, different guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My
I just know you had a sister. I just know you have a sister named Shannon.
yes, my bio dad did not name me,
Okay.
and my bio dad has a daughter named Shannon, my sister.
Okay.
So he has two.
That's how
siblings.
that story goes.
Yes.
Okay. I just knew there was a sister named Shannon.
Yes.
Sunshine Bear.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Wasn't there the Care Bear cousins? And there was like an elephant, a dog, and so the elephant, of course, was my favorite of Care Bear, whatever. But I think I was more Cabbage Patch. Like,
yeah, I had Cabbage Patch too.
I loved Cabbage Patch dolls. In 5th grade,
I still have my Cabbage Patch. I still have my Strawberry Shortcake. I still have my Rainbow Bright. And I used to have my Pound Puppy, but I don't know where it's at.
Yep. That's funny that you still have all those.
Yep.
I think it was 5th grade. I remember very clearly. No, I'm lying. It was 6th grade because I was in the middle school. I got a Cabbage Patch doll for probably my birthday or something, Christmas, I don't know. And it was a black Cabbage Patch doll. Okay. Which was fine. Like my mom probably got it on clearance, whatever.
Yeah, because your mom always got everything on clearance.
Even if we didn't need it, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't know why I had it, but I got this black Cabbage Patch doll. And I was in middle school. So I was in 6th grade. And I loved that doll so much that I took it to school. And I look at Gamblin, who's in 6th grade, and I think if she took a doll to school,
right?
Do you know the ass whooping she would get?
Yeah.
Especially a black doll.
Mm-hmm.
And you figure, I grew up, there was one black kid in our entire school.
Yeah, me too.
Tashawn was his name.
Yeah.
He was the only black kid. And Gamblin, at their school, there's a few more black kids. There's a lot of Hispanic kids, and there's Asian kids, whatever. It's like a very culturally mixed school. Well, I shouldn't say very. It is a culturally mixed school, not very. But the school I grew up in, it was all white people. And I brought this black doll to school. And I remember like I had no fear about it. Yeah. I was just like, no, I got this doll and I want to bring it. And I don't remember how much I got made fun of. I just remember I got made fun of. But then I also remember a few days later, other girls started bringing dolls to school, and we would like hang out on the playground and because we were still having recess and crap back then. That was in the early 90s. It's not like that now.
No, now the 6th graders are on the
having skincare and wearing Lululemon and
having sex on the playground.
God,
smoking cigarettes and
no shit. Gamblin was talking about that kid Cerelia that we call horse ankles. That's so mean to her. They're in 6th grade, and her boyfriend full on making out in the halls.
Yeah, see,
full. And Gamblin's like, they're like mom, like on TV making out.
Oh dang!
And I'm like, don't the teachers say anything? And she said, well, they usually just like if the teacher sees them, she tells them to stop, and they just move on to the next one,
into the next hall.
Yeah, and I'm like, what in 6th grade? But these girls, I mean, they're skincare and makeup and all that stuff. It wasn't that way back in the day.
No.
Was it? Do you remember? Glenn saw a TikTok on him the other day, and I hadn't thought about it. Pogs. You remember those?
I don't know what those are.
Maybe it was just a thing down here.
I guess.
Okay, so y'all comment on this and tell us if you know what a Pog is. P-O-G. They were like about the size of a silver dollar, and they were some were metal. Most of them were like cardboard, and they had like weird pictures, or like they would say like rad, because that was a word we used back then, right? So it'd say like rad on it, or it'd have a picture of like a yin and yang or whatever. And you were supposed to like flip them, like kind of like tiddlywinks. You remember those?
Nope.
Oh my God, you don't know anything. And I'm
Sorry.
younger than you. Okay, tiddlywinks
Yeah, and
were.
I grew up 1,000 miles from here, so there's things.
Isn't that different though? Okay, so tiddlywinks were these little coins that were like the size of a penny, and you took one and you pushed it down on the other one, and it would flip in the air, and you would like.
I'd have to see them. We might have had them, but
it might have been called something else, right?
Yeah.
But Pogs were like that, just bigger.
Okay.
And I was obsessed with those. It was like the girl version. Well, I think boys had them too, but of like trading cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's some toy that you would have had up there that I didn't have here?
Oh, I don't know.
Because we had Rainbow Bright, we had all of those big ones. But
Gary and I were just talking about because we watch what's that show with Nick Cannon as the host.
Oh, the joke one, like the
no, not Wild and Out.
Oh, Wild and Out.
No, not that one. Come on, people, help me.
Is it the one where they dress up?
Yes.
The Masked Singer.
Yes, the Masked Singer, and it was an eggplant, and I was like, that looks more like a California raisin. Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. California raisins.
Yeah. That's funny. I haven't thought of those in a long time. They're like dancing across the thing. They had their little white gloves on and their white shoes on.
Yeah,
Wasn't that some of them like had like hair? One of them had a skirt, I think.
Those were for Hardee's, right?
Hardy. We didn't have Hardee's here.
Oh.
I don't know what they're for, but I remember California raisins.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a funny one.
Maybe it wasn't Hardee's. What am I thinking of? I don't know. Anyway, California raisins. Yeah. You guys didn't have Hardee's down? Oh yeah, I guess not.
I don't know if there's Hardee's now down here. Are there?
No, the only Hardee's I know is on the way to Shreveport. I think it's in Shreveport. That's the closest one we know of.
I wonder if there's any in like Oklahoma or anything. Maybe because Glenn's talked about Hardee's before.
Yeah.
So probably in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But there's other things like what is it, Brahms, that we only have.
Yeah, so we didn't have Brahms.
Yeah, that's only from Oklahoma South.
We had Culver's.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have that.
Culver's is like a Brahms.
But Whataburger was one that wasn't everywhere until
we didn't know what Whataburger was until we moved to Texas.
What about what would your kids do if they had to deal with dial-up internet?
Could you imagine?
Gamblin walked in. No, it was Atlee walked in Monday, and our internet was out, and she was appalled, like completely offended. And I was like, Atlee, you have an iPad.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I need the internet. And I was like, no, you don't. I pay for data for the iPad. You don't. Well, she had turned some setting off, so it wouldn't work either. So she was just all bent.
I know whenever, like, we had all the kids living at home, and Preston, was a gamer. He's not now because he can't be, but he was a gamer, and our internet sucked, there for years when we moved in here, because it wasn't dial-up, but it was like satellite, and if it wasn't
perfectly sunshiny and
all we would hear is him going, lagging.
That's all he'd say.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what you would have done if you had dial-up and the phone rang.
Yeah. Then you got kicked off.
Yeah.
I remember I used to go over to this girl's house. Her name was Brandy, and she was like one of those kids that her parents like she had a jet ski and they had a pool, and
so they were rich.
Yeah, but they like they were rich. That's
like if our kids grew up back then the way we live right now,
they would think we were rich.
Yeah.
Glenn and I were talking about this very thing last night. That very thing.
Yeah.
What I say, when she got the internet and she had a computer, and it was like in this office space, because they even had their own office space at their house. And
so she was really rich.
Yeah. So I would go over to Brandy's house, and that was the whole thing, is like we would get on the internet and we get on like AOL chat rooms and stuff, right? But then her parents would need to call, and they'd be like, get off the internet. And her parents would start yelling at us. We're like, we didn't know. We'd be on the internet till like 4 a.m. And Glenn and I, though, last night we were legit. I said that phrase to him of, if you look at the house I grew up in. So let me set the scene for you. You never came to that house, because by the time you met Shay, we already lived in Denton. So let me set the scene for you.
I know where the house is at, and I know what it looks like, but
not anymore because it burnt to the ground.
Well,
but
yes.
In 1990, okay, I was 10 years old. Between 1990 and 1992, my aunt and uncle moved in, and their 2 kids. So we had Diana and Dan and Caleb and Luke.
Okay.
We had 8 people living in this house because Joe had already moved out. So it was my mom and dad, my brother Shay, me, and that family. All lived in one house. The house was originally a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house.
Oh, dang.
When I was 5 years old, my dad added on to it, so they added a living room and another bedroom. Still only 1 bathroom. We had 8 people sharing 1 bathroom. And it wasn't even a big bathroom. It was like the sink was in the corner of the wall, and then the toilet was right beside the sink. Like you could wash your hands while you were taking a shit. And then the bathtub, you could put your feet off in the bathtub while you were taking a shit. Like that's how.
Wash your hands.
Yes, you just be like stretched out. That's as big as this bathroom. 8 people.
Nice.
Sharing this bathroom. They had added on to the house a few times. So, like, in its heyday, it had 2 real bedrooms, which were Shay and I's. And then my dad added a master bedroom. It was just a big bedroom. It didn't have a bathroom or anything. He had plans to do that, never did. But, and then it had this, like, back room that was like the laundry room. And they had kind of made it into a bedroom at one point. At another point, my dad had built stairs up into the attic and finished out like a small space in the attic that was Joe's room for a hot minute when he didn't want to share with Shay anymore. No central heat and air.
Yeah, we didn't have central heat or air. No.
If it was cold, we had this little Dearborn heater that my mom would turn the gas on, light the match. Mm-hmm. That was it. We got dressed in front of that heater in the morning because it was so cold. She would turn on the stove, turn the burners on high on the stove. That was the heat for, it was probably 1,800 square feet. Mm-hmm. That was the heat for the whole house. Mm-hmm. AC, they had an AC in their room.
Yeah, because they had a window unit.
A window unit in their room, and then there was a window unit in the living room. So, like, when we became teenagers and we wanted privacy, you either slept in the living room to stay cool, or you
sweat your ass off.
Or you sweated your ass off and had privacy. Like, that was your 2 options.
Yeah.
So we put box fans in the window and hang a wet towel on them.
Yeah.
So the air coming through would at least feel cool. I pushed my bed up against the window so that way I was as close to the air as possible. And I look at my kids and they're bitching because the internet is out.
Yeah. I know. And I grew up in Illinois. And so we had bad winters.
Yeah.
I mean, we had like snow. And, we didn't have central heat or air either. And so in the wintertime, and we lived in many different houses, but the one I'm talking about was a 2-story, and I was in middle school. Well, no, I was probably freshman, sophomore in this house. And we didn't have heat, and it's typical winter, in Illinois, and there was snow on the ground and everything, and we had kerosene heaters. And so my bedroom was upstairs, and Mom's, we had a loft, and there was 2 bedrooms upstairs and then the loft. Well, Mom's sewing room, craft room, whatever, was in the loft. And I had a waterbed.
Waterbed. That's another one.
Yeah. And so when I would wake up in the morning, I could see my breath.
Mm-hmm, I bet.
And Mom would stand, because she didn't want to come upstairs because it was cold. She would stand at the bottom of the stairs and yell at me to get up, to go to school.
Quality parenting 101.
Yeah. And so I didn't have to get up in the cold. I mean, I still got up in the cold, but I would put my clothes underneath my blanket at night before I went to bed. So that I would just get dressed. Yeah, I would just get dressed underneath the blanket.
In the bed.
And I always asked her, I'm like, Mom, can I turn the kerosene heater on? She's like, no. But she would turn it on if she was upstairs doing her craft room or whatever. But I guess that's why that heat bothers me so bad.
You're scarred for life.
Like, it takes a lot for me to get cold now. Like, it does.
Mm-hmm. I'm cold all the time.
Well, see, I'm not.
I'm cold all the time.
No.
Glenn said at one house that they lived in, because, I mean, it was the same way, but one house they lived in, they had a swamp cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the only AC. Another one, he said they had an attic fan, and his dad would flip on this fan, and it was supposed to suck out all the hot air.
Mm-hmm. In the attic, yeah.
And you just hear all the doors, every door of the house shut. You figure I lived in the same house from the time I was born until I was 18.
Oh, see, not me.
So and then we moved to a 2-story house that had central heat and air. And I remember the first night coming out of that house. I had graduated high school. It was in the fall after I graduated high school. I was still living at home, and I looked at my mom and I was like, "This feels like a hotel."
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an average, builder house. Like it wasn't anything special. It was a tract home.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like a friggin' hotel because what do you mean I can get it's the same temperature in here?
Yeah.
Like what?
Our first house, it was a trailer. It was a single wide trailer that we moved in after when I was 16. And that's when we had central heat and air.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And our kids like don't even like gambling complaints. She's like, it's hot in my room. I'm like, well, the AC set on 71.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not more than 71 in your room. Maybe 73 if you kept the blinds up.
Before it, yeah.
But let's be real. It's not hot in your room.
No.
And we had 8 people share one bathroom. This kid is 12 years old and has her own bathroom in her own room. Atlee has her own bathroom across the hall. Granted, Atlee's is the one that everybody uses.
Yeah.
But all in all, that's her bathroom. 95% of the time, she's the only one using it. Because when Kim's comes home, she's going to use it, but it's not, she's not home all the time. And I'm like looking at my kids and I'm like, okay, maybe we made it.
Yeah, and that's what I tell Gary all the time too. I'm like, to look at, yes, we aren't going on extravagant vacations and shit like that, but we're not paying our bills. We have heat.
We're bills paid broke.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we are. We're bills paid broke.
Yeah.
Like once the bills are paid, there's not much left.
Yeah.
Especially not in the economy it is right now.
Yes, especially when gas is like $5 a gallon again.
Yeah. And I mean, I know my parents did, the best they could with what they had.
Yes.
My dad worked his ass off until he went on disability after having multiple heart attacks.
And that's about the time that I met you guys, is whenever he quit working.
He had the first heart attack when I was 18.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I was 19.
Yep.
And Shay was in Ingleside at that point.
Yep.
I remember him coming up. It was a big deal. But yeah, he had actually fully retired shortly before Preston was born.
Yeah, because I met you guys October of '99. Met you and your mom and dad.
Yeah.
And Vicky and little Jordan.
Tiny Jordan.
I remember meeting 3. Jordan for the first
time.
She'll
be 30 at the end of the month.
Oh, I know.
Jordan. 30. It's crazy. But I mean, if you look at the standard of living today, and you think about, okay, you're comparing yourself to the Joneses, or I'm comparing myself to this people I know or that people I know, whatever. And I think, oh, well, they've got nicer cars. They've got probably more money in the bank. They've got, a bigger house. They go on all these trips. They've made it, and they're younger than me. Mm-hmm. They didn't start where I started.
Yeah.
I started at 18 years old, like you. They didn't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
My parents didn't give me, $1,000 when I graduated high school.
Yeah.
They said, if you're going to college, you better pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I paid for my own college, one class at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was living in my car.
Yeah, you said you were like legit living in a car.
Yeah. Couch surfing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, until I joined the military. And my best friend at the time, Missy, called me.
Because she joined too, right?
Yep. She joined the Navy and was like, hey, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay. She goes, come up. They're going to sign you up too. And I'm like, all right, I'll be there. And give me 3 hours. So I drove from where I was at in Illinois to Indianapolis.
And said, here you go.
Yep.
So see, your starting point, that was your starting point as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
My starting point as an adult. I know people, I say friends, some are friends, some are just people I know, that are in their, mid-30s. They have kids my age, it's a kid, 12-year-old kid, whatever. And they're way further, and I'm putting that in quotes, they're way further in life than I am. Mm-hmm. But I started way further behind than they did.
Yeah.
It's families where there's this family money, and the guy's never had to change his own oil. He doesn't know how to change his own oil because he's never had to. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I had to learn to do that because I couldn't pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. I look at where even my kids start, and Milo and I talked about this not too long ago. Like with her partner, with Rio, is where Milo's starting as being in college at a D1 school, has a almost brand new truck. TJ's in a situation where he can help, he can fund her life basically while all she does is go to school. She doesn't have to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Gable the same way. How lucky are they?
Mm-hmm.
Like TJ, that is one thing I can say. And I don't know what all that happens at their house and what kind of conversations they have or any of that stuff. That doesn't matter. What I know is my older children's starting point is way further along than what a lot of kids' starting point is.
Even your younger two.
It will be, absolutely. Yeah. My younger two will not have that same starting point. Yeah. They better get a scholarship because they're not going to have, a grandparent that won the lottery and is a multimillionaire. They're not going to have that.
Yeah.
But we often compare, I think as a people, we often compare ourselves to people in our age bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And really, no, you need to compare yourself to the people that started where you started. So at 25 years old, where you were, and from where you started at 18, you look at somebody who is 18 and starting with nothing. By 25, where they are is probably going to be closer to where you were, 35, 45, versus, people that.
Well, that's that's like Preston. I joined the military when I was 20. And I don't know how old Shay was. I have no idea.
He was 19.
Okay.
No, he was 20. Because I think he left when he was 21.
Okay. Well, I was gone already at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. I turned 21 in the Navy. But Preston, he was a little late bloomer on that. And I always knew it would be Preston to join, but he just,
it took him a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he's doing good now. So,
but Joe was 18. Like he left a couple of weeks after graduation.
See, that was Gary.
Joe didn't stick around, whereas Shay tried to.
Well, Gary didn't even graduate. Like he graduated, but he didn't walk.
He didn't walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shay got a job and got fired and got a job and got fired and got a job and got fired.
I was like, Preston.
Yeah. I mean, a lot like Preston, and I think Shay just kind of got to the point a little sooner than Preston, but he didn't have kids to take care of yet. To where he was like, okay, I think probably my dad had a conversation with him and said, look, enough already. We're not.
Well, and that's the conversation that I had with Preston was because he had applied for the police department and actually went and took the written test, passed it with flying colors, and was doing the physical and didn't pass one part of the physical test. And they already had him down to go do it again. And they're like, you're close. Just kind of practice your whatever it was, running or whatever, and you should pass it next time. Well, so he, talked to me and he was like, Mom, I don't, should I join the military or should I do the police department and, whatever. And I said, well, you just got to weigh out your odds. Are you going to have a better career in the military or as a cop? And I said, but you need to make a decision.
Yeah, shit or get off the pot at this point.
I said, because you now have 2 kids you have to worry about. And so you need to, figure this shit out. I'm not going to tell you which one to do. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. Mm-hmm. And which, looking back, I'm glad he chose the military.
I think he made the right decision. Yeah.
Because
I think he has a better options for a career.
Yes. Not only that, but even his job after.
Yeah.
Like if he does 6 years or if he does 26 years, his job when he retires or gets out, whatever, is going to be better than just being, not just being a cop, because a cop is.
Yeah. Thank you to any servicemen, military, police, all of you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think his options are more better now that especially with the job that he has in the military, which is counterintelligence.
It's more better.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I could get behind that. Gable, you figure Gable is finishing school. But same thing, like he doesn't realize how advanced his start was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't, and it's not the 80s anymore. Like, absolutely. We started off kind of talking about nostalgia in the 80s mm-hmm. and the life that we're living now, it is not that way. But we're like the last generation that remembers that, right? We're
Glenn and I we're the best generation.
We're literally the best generation because we know what it's like in both worlds.
Yep. Yep.
We know what it's like to live without technology.
Yep.
Where you had to sit at the phone waiting for your friend to call because she said she was going to call at 4, and you sat there for 30 minutes hoping that she was going to call.
Mhm.
All in all, her brother's been on the internet and she hasn't been able to.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
whereas our kids, you know, my 12-year-old has a cell phone.
Mhm.
She can get a hold of anything. She can literally get any information she wants
Mhm.
at any point of the day.
Mhm.
We used to have to go to the library and go in the microfiche or pull up an encyclopedia. We had a whole set of encyclopedias.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, how outdated was that knowledge, too? Because that shit was like from 1983. And in 1996, you know some things had changed, but by God, that's where I got my stuff.
Yep. Exactly.
Or like first car I had a Volkswagen Beetle. The very first car I got was a Volkswagen Beetle. And it only lasted a few weeks. Well, then I got Shay's hand-me-down. It was missing an entire door panel where you had to like jimmy this like bar thing to get the door open. The trunk wouldn't lock. So like your friends could crawl in through the trunk, push the seats down, and be in your driver's seat when you came out from school.
Nice.
Like it was a piece of shit. And then I look at like Gable and Milo's first cars, and I'm like, y'all have no idea, like how lucky you are.
Yeah, my first car wasn't like beat up like that. I had an '89 Pontiac Grand Am 2-door, and the only thing really wrong with it was the guy that had it before me, which I knew him. He had drove through some high water like a year or so prior to him selling it to me, and it worked fine. I mean, he, nothing broke or anything. Yeah, nothing. Well, Illinois winters got to like 30 below zero.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was like an everyday thing,
Ugh.
And so when it would get wintertime and get that cold, I would have to go out and start my car an hour before I had to be anywhere because the gear shift would be frozen.
Because there was just enough moisture left in there.
Yep.
That's funny. You're like, well, I just got to idle for an hour.
Yep. So if I was ever running late to anything, I was screwed because
there's no running late whenever you have to let your car warm up for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd go out there, after about 30 minutes and try to jiggle it, and it still wouldn't be jiggling. So I'd go back in the house and,
sit and wait.
Yep. That's all I could do.
It's wild. And look, your kids all got new or almost new.
Well, the girls both got brand new cars.
Preston was pretty new though. His first truck, wasn't it?
Well, his very first truck, no, it was a cash truck. And then after about 6 months, because it was a 2003, he turned 16 in 2016. This was a 2003 Dodge Durango single cab. And after a few months, it just started shitting the bed, and we were going to have to put too much money into it. So we traded it in for the 2009, 2010 Silverado.
Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Still a really nice truck.
Because he wanted a truck, and I kept telling him, I was like, okay, a truck is going to be more expensive than a car. He's like, I want a truck. And I'm like, okay. So that's why he got a used truck, and the girls both got brand new cars.
Brand new car, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, with the little girls growing up, I mean, Gamblin is... She's so funny. She's like, I want Dad's truck. I'm like, there is no way you need a 1-ton Dodge. But then I'm like, I mean, she can run over other people. So, like, would she be safer in that big ass truck than a little car?
Well, yeah, but
by then, like, my car will be paid off. His truck will be paid off. Hopefully, they survive that long, and then she'll just
the car or the kid survive that long.
Well, hopefully the kid does at least. But hopefully she'll take one of ours and then we'll get a new one. But it's just wild to me to think how different what we experienced as the age of our children now. At 16, what you were doing versus your 16-year-old.
Yeah.
By 12 years old, I look at Gambling and I'm like, by 12 years old, I knew what it was like for my mom to spend 3 days in bed without even getting up to see if we had eaten. I knew what it was like to have my brother run in and show me his penis. Like, funny, but legit, like the things that, just experiences that I had, at that age, and I look at her and I'm like, God, it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
The difference. And thank God for the
Well,
difference.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not dissing the difference at all.
Yeah.
But what a difference. What a huge difference.
Yeah. I remember my mom and brother getting into fights like so bad.
Like physical?
Yeah.
Like they was going to beat the shit out of each other?
Well, mom beating the shit out of Kelly.
Well, it was just one sided. Poor Kelly.
Well, and even me and mom, we got into some pretty good physical fights too.
Michaela told me her and her mom got into a full on fight, like in the front yard. They had to call the police, and her mom was sitting on her.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Your mom?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, my mom was just in bed."
Yeah. Well, and and we joke. My brother and I, we always joke because we start telling stories every time we get together about how the way we were raised, and he was always like, "Oh, you were so spoiled," and blah blah blah. Well, then he wasn't home. He's 11 years older than I am.
Yeah, by the time he would remember you being spoiled, he already didn't live there.
And I'm like, Kelly, this is how I, lived. And I tell him, and he's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, we joke, and even I joke with my kids. And so we have a buggy whip, and I never have to use it on the dogs, but they know. Yep, that thing right there. They know if I get it, they better calm down, right? Well, when the kids were all living at home, they would be acting stupid, and I'd be like, "You want me to get the buggy whip?" And they just laugh at me because I've never even thought about using it on them.
Yeah,
and which I probably should have a couple times, but I didn't.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, and me and Kelly, we had that.
My dad had a paddle.
And I had, the big thick wood paddle with the word "ouch," in it. Mm-hmm. And, we had that, but we didn't have to do that with our kids. Mm-hmm. And I think Preston probably got spanked more than the girl.
Yeah, I've seen you whoop Preston's ass.
Yes. Well, Preston needed it. He's half your brother.
Just trying to whoop the Crawford out of him.
Yes, I was.
Didn't work.
Didn't fucking work.
Didn't work.
But the girls, I think Caitlin's had her butt spanked once from Gary, and I think Skyla's had her butt spanked maybe twice. We just didn't do that. But they did. But all three of the kids knew that if it got to that point, it was going to happen. Yeah, it was going to happen.
Yeah, the younger two, my younger two, they wouldn't even know what a spanking is, other than a pop on the diaper to get their attention when they're itty bitty. Ken's had quite a few. She had the most.
Yeah. Had the most?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't even tell you, like Gable.
Sweet little Kinsley.
I know, but yeah, but you remember those fits.
I do.
And that's what it always was. And looking back, our reaction of spanking her was not the best reaction. Her and I've talked about it, and I'm like, that's not the way that we should have handled it. And I can see that now. But at 28 years old, trying to navigate being a single mom with this kid that will not listen for shit and is throwing wall-eyed fits, that's all I knew was getting your butt whooped. Because my dad literally, he would say, go get the paddle. And I would start crying from the word go, and I would cry all the way to the laundry room to get the paddle, and I'd cry all the way back. And by the time I got back to him with the paddle, I was and usually he didn't spank me. Now Shay, he broke that paddle on Shay's ass, and he'd super glue it back, and he'd break it again. And he did it over and over and over. Just a different time, I guess, of the way that we punish our kids.
Yeah.
But even just lifestyle changes, you've learned things through having 3 kids that work and don't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can absolutely 100%. I will look my older 2 children in the eye and say, I made way more mistakes with you 2.
Yeah.
And I held you to a standard that I shouldn't have, and I was harder on you, and probably more so Gable being a boy.
Yeah, I was going to say that with Preston.
And things that I can look back and say, I wish I had done these things better.
Well, and Preston also was my only child, as I was a single mom.
Yeah,
it was only Preston.
Yeah, it was you and him.
So I was active duty, so I was working, full time. And then I would come home and have to deal with Shay either calling me or, whatever,
Harassing you.
just harassing me, causing me all kinds of havoc.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and Preston was the only one there. And then when Preston was two, having the terrible twos or whatever and not listening, and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he probably got the brunt of a lot.
Yeah.
And, but, and he's going to be able to, tell his kids it was the way I grew up, why I am the way I am today. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
like me. I wouldn't change anything.
Really,
Nothing of how I was raised, because I am the person I am today because of it.
I would change so much.
Well, yes, you would. And I get that. I totally
Yeah.
understand that. But I'm talking about the way that I was raised, like how
Yeah.
mom disciplined me and how, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you figured discipline wasn't even a big thing for me because I was so scared to misbehave.
Yeah.
Like Glenn and I've talked about it, like I wanted to be invisible.
Mm-hmm.
He was invisible to his parents. He was absolutely invisible. He will absolutely say, I think I could have been gone for 2 days before they knew that I was even gone.
Really?
Like he was invisible. He got 8 years old, he was getting himself up, getting his own breakfast, and walking to school. At 8 years old. And I'm thinking, that's neglect.
Yeah.
Like his form of childhood trauma was neglect. He was just kind of like left to do whatever he did. So the fact that he became the human that he is because of him, not
Mm-hmm.
because of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
I just became invisible. I became not a problem. Whatever my mom said, okay. And I wouldn't buck anything. I didn't like I would go with my mom and my grandmother, and they would go eat at a restaurant, and they would be eating lunch, and they would sit there and talk until dinner, and then they would eat dinner at the same restaurant, and I'd be 9 years old, 8 years old, sitting there all day with them. I didn't have an iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Sat there and colored on menus,
Mm-hmm.
or laid in the booth, but
Yeah.
I didn't misbehave. So I didn't get, there wasn't a lot of discipline required for me. They used all the discipline on Shay. I saw what they were doing to Shay, and they weren't abusive by any means to Shay. I'm not saying that in the slightest. They never beat the shit out of him. They gave him whoopings, whatever. But he was the problem child. He was the one causing the havoc. So I was the one that learned, hey, I've got to be invisible.
Yeah.
So I can't look back and say I would, my parents disciplined me this way, and that's the way I am.
Yeah.
No, I mean there's lots of factors to that, but but there's a lot that I would change given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But because I can't, I've made sure that my daughters don't have those experiences. Because I will burn the country down if I have to, if someone comes to hurt my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
My son too, but being that he's a boy, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's different. It's hard seeing them sometimes at the age they are, and thinking, okay, look at Milo, for example, 19 and a half. I was engaged and had a mortgage at 20 years old. I was married. Let's see, we got engaged in October 99. When you and I met, we had just got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I turned 20 in February. We got married April 1st, and we closed on our house in December of that year. Like I had a mortgage at 20 years old. What the hell?
I didn't have a mortgage, but I was active duty and
living on your own, fully self-sufficient, basically.
Yep.
Not getting any help from anybody else.
Nope.
Isn't that? It's mind blowing to me.
I know
the differences in how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Glenn, I was like, I think we should probably be a little more proud of where we are in life, even in our mid 40s, upper 40s, whatever. I don't know that we've quote unquote made it, but I don't know if anybody actually makes it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're living, our parents in their 40s versus us in our 40s, night and day difference.
And just like us in our 40s and our kids in their 40s.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time that our kids are our age, they will be having stocks and bonds and all kinds of things in their futures. And, like they'll have more security, and maybe they won't.
Yeah.
That's the scary part to me, is maybe they won't do better than me. Like I did better than my parents, but I want my kids to do better than me.
And that's what I always tell the kids too. I'm like, be better than me. That's what I want.
Yeah. I want you to be able to take care of me when I'm old.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be like I see people that are taking care of they're raising their grandkids and their sons and daughters are off doing drugs and
Mm-hmm.
partying like they're 19 still. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want my kids to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no guarantee. We just do, I guess, the best we can do.
Yep. And that's all we can do.
Maybe if they had more Rainbow Brights and Care Bears in their life, they were taking dolls to school in 6th grade.
Instead of phones and
Yeah, instead of phones and iPads and Lululemon and I mean,
yep.
But they also get it all pushed in their face all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
All day, every day, it's people, well, you're not cool if you don't have this or do that. And our girls aren't going to have and do all those ritzy things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not spit. Even if I could, even if I won the lottery, I ain't spending $120 on a pair of leggings.
Yeah, me neither.
I refuse. I'll be like, no, them Target leggings are just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think if we won, Gary and I talk about that all the time about winning the lottery. I mean,
you got to play to win, though.
Yeah, well, we play. I mean, Gary does. Gary has.
Does he have certain numbers he picks every week?
No,
he just
we try that every once in a while. There'll
be signs if you win.
Yeah, I'm not telling nobody, but there'll be signs.
I'm gonna find out. I'll be like, bitch, listen, you better give me some.
Yeah. Gary and I talk about it all the time. Like, what would we do if we did win? And I'd be like, well, I'd pay the house off and then give it to one of the kids.
Yeah.
Whoever is ready for it, I would just hand it over to him.
Yeah.
Like, yep, this is yours. I would pay all of our debt off. That's for sure.
Oh, that would be the first check I wrote.
Yeah.
I'd be like, mortgage, car, this.
But I don't know if I'd pay the cars off because that kind of keeps your credit going. You never know if you might need the credit later.
My credit shit anyway. So.
Well,
what happens in the last 3 years, my credit's gone to shit, and I'm just done worrying about it. But
if
you have millions of dollars, you don't need credit anyway.
Well, yeah, and then I would make sure that all the kids were taken care of as far as they may not like. Skyla, if I was to win the lottery today, I would not give Skyla $1 million today. Yeah. I mean, she's 16. I would
put it in a trust and say, okay, this is what it's for, and this is when you can access it. And
all 3 kids would be that way, and then the grandkids would have it. Yeah. When they got to a certain age, they wouldn't get it right now. Yeah. I couldn't trust their
judgment. They'd be all gone.
Well, their mother's judgment on it.
I mean, Glenn and I have said, you always talk about that, right? Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
What's the most crazy thing you would do? Like the thing that people would be like, what the hell? I can tell you mine. Every single person in my house, okay, currently 4 Milo comes and goes, would have brand new socks every day. I am never, ever,
new socks,
ever rolling another pair of socks.
I hate socks. I mean, I just don't wear them. I probably wear socks maybe 30 times a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I refuse. I'm telling you. You're going to come over and you'll be like, why is there an entire closet of socks? And wait, did you just take your socks off and throw them in the trash? Sure did. Shut up. I got money to pay for new socks. I hate socks.
I don't know.
That would be like my one, like, really weird, like, oh, I've got enough money to blow my nose on $20 bills. I'm buying, everybody gets new socks every day. You just open a new pair of socks every day.
I don't know what mine would be.
And Glenn's like, no, you wouldn't, because you'd have somebody doing the laundry. They'd be matching the socks. I don't care. I'd still have somebody doing the laundry, but guess what? She ain't going to have to wash socks.
Yeah. I would have a house cleaner. I used to have a house cleaner, and then just schedules got too stupid and too many people living here, and we could never, like, the cleaning lady always liked to be here by herself, which I totally get. Yeah. Totally understand that. And she could never be here by herself because it was always somebody here.
Some kid or somebody here.
And so I was like, you know what, let's take a break. Well, that break started about 2 years ago. And, now we've just got too many fucking dogs. So I still don't have a cleaning lady, but the house really doesn't get, that dirty.
Yeah, you figure you got 3 people living here,
Yeah.
and one keeps all her crap in her room. So if it's
Yeah.
messy,
Yeah. So, but I would have a cleaning lady, and
Yeah.
maybe even a cook. I might even have a cook. I mean,
Really?
'cause, yeah, I don't cook anymore hardly.
Yeah, you said Gary does most of it
Yeah,
now.
Gary does it, and I'm sure he would love to have a cook.
I don't think we would have a cook because we both like to cook so much. You
Yeah.
figure that's like one thing that we do almost nightly, usually together. Glenn and I usually cook dinner together. Sometimes it's me because he's tired, or it's him
I
because
sit at the
whatever.
bar and stare at Gary while he's
While
cooking.
he cooks. Yeah, no, we usually are both in the kitchen, doing something. And we've even had friends say, "Y'all work like a oiled machine when you're in the kitchen," because that's we've just got that way over the years cooking together. And even sometimes like home date night, that's what we choose to do. So I don't think we would have a cook, but we would definitely have somebody that came in and cleaned up after we cooked. Like that housekeeper would be like living there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure her name's Madge and she weighs 450 pounds and has a mole on her face and a pimple on her butt. So I don't have to worry about her looking at my husband sideways, but not really. I found some hot little, be like, come on, girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I would probably have a masseuse living here too.
Well, yeah, we talked about that on last week's episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you'd go to JM Football more.
Maybe. That's too far to drive.
Yeah. I would probably, let's see, definitely a housekeeper that would, like a daily housekeeper. Like it wouldn't be somebody that comes once a week to deep clean. Like I would have somebody there to pick up the crap. And at the end of the day, at 5 o'clock or whatever, hey, you get off at 7 after we cook dinner and you've cleaned it up. I don't know how all that works, whatever.
Yeah.
But I would definitely have that.
And it's so funny, like Brenna and I have talked to about, like, one day I want to live in an apartment downtown, no yard, no nothing, but on the other side of that, I want to live out in the country with 100 acres and
36 dogs.
Yep. Horses and, all of that. So
I don't even know, like, where our house is. I would say that where our house is where we would want to be, but we would probably try and buy the other houses on our street or on our block.
So
like
only you were there?
In our block, maybe like buy like 2 or 3 houses and then build a big house on that property, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. Glenn would live in like you, like out in the country where you got to drive 64 miles to the store.
Yeah. And how I would do it is I would have like 100 acres, and then me and Gary would have our house, and then all 3 kids would be there too.
Yeah, it'd be a compound, family compound.
Yep.
Yeah.
And each kid would have about 10 acres.
Have their own space, not like all up on you.
Yep.
Yeah. I could get behind that part of it for sure. Like having a space where, grandma would have a place, and then the kids, if they wanted a place, would have it. But
and I wouldn't even, and I say I want a big house, but just kind of like how we talked last week about our bodies. 1 minute I'm fat, the next minute I'm like, I'm good. But just like this, like 1 minute I want a tiny home, and then the next minute I want, a huge, 3,000 square foot house, So
I think like the size of our house is like, I think around 3,000 square foot. It might be like 2,800. Like that size, but I would have, like, the kitchen would be massive, and it would have all the bells and whistles.
Your kitchen is not very big.
Our kitchen is not. But the kitchen almost made us not buy that house because we were like, is this kitchen really big enough for us?
Yeah.
And it's not. So the original plan was to take out a wall, open it up to the living room and the dining room and do all that. But something about like the way the beam, I don't know, Glenn talked to the guy, but something about the way the beam runs, it was going to be like an extra $15,000 to put in the support that we would need in order to even do the remodel. So it's not going to happen, unless we won the lottery, in which case then maybe it would. But we even had like the designer come out, and like it was going to have like an island where the stove is now. And then like where the coffee bar is, it's going to have another island. So all that would be open to like our dining room and our living room, but it would be like 2 islands there. And like the design was really cool. It was going to be like $50,000, and we didn't want to spend that. And that was before we found out about the beam thing. So then that was going to be like another 15. And then, That's the worst thing about our house, though, is the
Yep.
kitchen.
Yep.
And
It
our
is kinda
master
small.
bathroom, it's tiny too.
Yes.
But
it
that's not really the
is.
master. But the true master is tiny just the same. Because the true master is gambling's room.
Yeah. I've never actually been in that room because it was Kinsley's, right?
Yeah, you gotta take a tetanus shot to go in there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep. Now it's not so bad. Gambling cleans her room twice a week. Although she trapped Rosie in there and Rosie crapped and pissed all over the floor, so now the carpet stinks. Her room is clean, it just smells now. I need to rent a carpet cleaner and go in there and do it. But our signs would be cars. Like you'd see me rolling up in a different car every time you saw me. We'd have to have a massive garage. Because Glenn has like a list of probably 9 or 10 cars that he would, like if we won some giant, $100 million
No, I'd
lottery.
have a '67 Camaro, and then I would have a new Corvette. Because I don't really care for the old Corvettes. I like the old Camaros. And then I would have a brand new Corvette, and then I would have, like my mom car,
Like a mom mobile.
like I have now.
Like when you had your Camaro and
Yeah.
had little children.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was convenient, wasn't it?
Actually, it was. It wasn't that bad. It
Are you figure I had a Mustang and 2 kids and car seats?
No, I had the Camaro once Preston got in a sitting upright car seat, and then it was okay. So
it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
I'd have a 1982, well, maybe an 83 Corvette. It like very specific Corvette, like very specific Corvette. And then I would have a Suburban, like fully blacked out Suburban as my mom car. But then I also would want a Volkswagen Beetle.
Why do you want a Beetle?
A Volkswagen Bus. I would drive a Beetle right now. If
you used to have one, right? When I met you. Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I had a green one when Gable was born, or shortly after he was born. I had a green of the new body style.
Yeah.
And then my very first car was a Beetle as well. But I would have a purple Beetle. I'd have an old one. I don't want a new one. I'd have an old.
Yeah, we had growing up. We had 2. We had one that was like that lime yellow green color, and then we had a red one.
See, I love them. I would have that. I'd also have a beat up bus though.
There's a
the electric bus that came out. Have you seen them? The Volkswagen.
No, but there's a warehouse in Fort Worth that has the Scooby Doo van.
Is it the car museum?
Yes.
That's on 35?
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't been there. We've talked about it. I didn't know the Scooby Doo van was there though.
It was there when Gary and I went.
Oh, Allie would love that. She loves Scooby Doo.
Yeah. It was nice. I mean, you just walked around.
Because it was free to get in, right?
Yeah. And you just walk around and look at all the cars, and they, you can actually buy them, from there. I don't know how they do the financing, or if they even finance. They may not. It's even
probably
finance.
A cash kind of thing.
Probably. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, but because we didn't go because we were looking for a vehicle, we just went on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Just went and walked around. It was really nice.
I keep saying it, like every time we pass it, I'm like, we need to go there.
Yeah, it's like on 820 and 35 right there. Yeah. Yeah,
it says like car and toy museum or something. Yeah. There's also one on 35 going towards Denton at I think it's the Golden Triangle exit. It's called Triple F Automotive, and it's a bunch of it's all vintage cars, and you can go in and look at them and stuff too.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that's the same people that own the business park that our company shop is in. That's the only reason I know about it. But Glenn would have a Cuda. He would have like some kind of Chip Foose car. He has this whole ass list. Like he'd need a 10-car garage just by himself.
No.
I'd have to be like, look, your budget for vehicles is $1 million, and you can't spend $1,001. You can only spend $1 million on vehicles, and so you better decide what you want. And he'd drive a different car every day. Mm-hmm. But you figure we're both kind of car people.
Yeah.
And even being able to do stuff on cars, not just him, but I can do stuff on cars because my dad was like, you have to be able to change your oil, change a tire, know how you're supposed to rotate your cars, know tires, know how to change your windshield wipers. He like made us learn all of these things before he would let me drive. I didn't
know all that. I don't know all that. I know how to change a tire. I know how to check my oil.
Yeah.
But that's why I married somebody that knows how to do all that.
Yeah, me too. But when Glenn and I met,
and my son Preston knows how to do all that too.
first time I met Glenn's best friend, Jared, uh, like first time I went to Oklahoma, and he was like taking me around to show me off, right? And I had told him, I said, yeah, like I'm a little bit of a gearhead, not like big, but I can tell you some things about cars, and I know how to change my own oil and change my tires and stuff like that. And we we went to his friend Jared's house. First time I met him, I'm like, hey, Jared, it's nice to meet you. And he was like, so I hear you know how to, and I thought he was going to say something sexual, and I went, Glenn, you told him that? And I was like completely innocent. Like I didn't mean to do this at all. And Jared was like, I was gonna say change your own oil. And like even the last time that I talked to Jared, he was like, yeah, I know about you. I'm like, shut up. Leave me alone. I made such an ass of myself. First time. He hadn't talked to Jared in a long time now though, but
That's funny.
I don't know. We started this off with the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And now we're on if we win the lottery.
Yeah. You know.
Side quest.
Yep.
Side quest.
We always go on side quests. It's
Our favorite, we were talking about our favorite toys from the 80s and 90s and dial-up internet.
Oh, we had Light Bright. Remember the Light Bright?
Those are still around. Atlee has one.
Yeah.
Remember going to Pizza Hut and they had the like
you could actually sit down inside Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and it had like the lights that were like stained glass.
Yeah. And they had the salad bar.
Yeah, the big salad bar.
Yeah, my brother Kelly worked at Pizza Hut when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
How about time and temperature? Remember calling time and temperature?
Yeah, and you could call and get the movie times.
Yeah, you had to call or get it out of the newspaper.
Yeah.
TV Guide.
Yeah.
That's another one kids know nothing about.
Exactly. Or phone books.
Yeah.
Or like for us, it was, which we hardly ever closed school because of snow, because we just drove on it. But you had to actually sit
and watch it
your,
scroll across the bottom.
Yeah, for your name of school.
Yeah, now you get a call, a text.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook. It's, you know, an email.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are like, my kids on a snow day, I just don't even wake them up.
Yeah.
Because I've got a text at
well, usually they know the day before.
Yeah, they do make that decision a lot of times before.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. Time and temperature, movie times, TV Guide. There's got to be more stuff that.
I had one too.
Remember Walmart was just Walmart? It wasn't a grocery store?
I do not remember that.
Like it was just clothes and automotive and crafts.
Kmart.
Yeah, it was like Kmart, but it didn't have it didn't have any food.
No, I just kind of always remember Walmart being grocery and.
Yeah, I remember when Denton got the super Walmart, it was a big deal. Before that, it was just Walmart, and it didn't have any food.
I do remember buying our first VCR.
Oh, the VCR.
Yeah.
Now those things are like $200 something.
I know, that's stupid.
For a friggin' VCR.
Yeah. I remember buying our first like stereo without an 8-track.
Was it like one of the big ones with the giant ass speakers?
Yeah, and it had the 2 cassettes with the record player on the top.
Yeah, record player on top and then 2 cassettes. Yeah. That was big shit back then.
I remember buying our first microwave.
My dad brought a microwave home from work one time, and that thing was the size of the oven. Like it was massive.
He did
commercial kitchen. Yeah. That sucker was massive. He put this shelf in. We didn't have a dishwasher. He put this shelf in the corner of the kitchen and put this big ass microwave on it. I didn't know how to work the thing, and I put a fork in it. Like I didn't know, and that's one of the worst yelling like he ever did at me. And I was like, how was I supposed to know? We never had this newfangled machine. I just, put my soup in there, like my probably tomato soup or something, and my fork or spoon was in there. Man, he tore my ass up for that one.
I have a friend that I don't really talk to her anymore, but I have a friend that doesn't have a microwave even to this day. They just don't believe in it. They're like, no, we're not.
We don't use our microwave very often. Like we could probably not have a microwave and would be okay. We use the air fryer for everything.
Yeah, see, that's what we do too. Ever since we got that new air fryer, we hardly ever use the microwave.
Yeah. The girls almost heat everything up, unless it's something that specifically has to be in the microwave, like microwave popcorn or something. But even that, we got the little popcorn maker, like we can do without it.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably get away with not having a microwave too. Now, your nephew,
Not so much. He's microwaving everything.
Yeah, he microwaves frozen pizzas.
What? That sounds disgusting.
And it is disgusting.
That sounds vile.
I know. And it was funny because like that's just how he always, and I always, even when he was too young or just I wanted to make him a pizza, I always put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Like he didn't get that shit from me. I don't know who he got that shit from, but it was not me. But then he did it for Cohen one time, and I went, Cohen is not eating that.
Microwave pizza.
He is not eating microwave pizza.
Yeah.
I will put.
I mean, some of them are made to go in the microwave, but just your
Yeah,
average Totino's pizza is not.
Yeah, Totino's pizza. Yeah, Tostino's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what he puts in the microwave, and I'm like, that is nasty. And I said, you will not be feeding my grandson that. And so now, like when Cohen does get to come, he's always like, can I have a pizza or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, are you going to microwave it? Don't ask me that, Cohen.
No, Cohen.
I am not your dad.
We are not going to mistreat pizza like that.
That is nasty.
Remember the big screen TVs? I remember our rich friends that had the big screen TVs.
Yeah, and they like took up your whole living room.
Or the satellite dishes, like the original satellite dishes.
Yeah.
And then once they came out with the little ones, the people just kept the giant one.
Yeah.
So you had this big ass satellite dish that was the size of your friggin' swimming pool.
Yeah. Well, and then every time you changed internets, because out here where we're at, we would get a new internet company, and they'd come out and they'd put
So you had 16 satellites on the roof.
And so when we got our new roof a couple years ago, they took all that shit down because we don't have that anymore. Yeah. We have the Elon Musk
Satellite or something.
Starlink. And so we don't have one of those. And I was like, oh, look how nice our roof looks without
16 different satellite dishes.
Yeah. I mean, they would come get the satellite dish, but then the
little pole thing.
Yeah, the poles were all
in
one spot.
Crap. Yeah. It's got to face south or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, giant ass TVs. My parents had one of them big console TVs too that like sat on the floor.
Yeah.
And it was like in a wood case.
Yep.
And then when that one broke, they put the new one on top of that one. It. Yeah. So my mom had this like doily thing over the top of this big ass TV.
And what was it with doilies?
Doilies everywhere.
I have a bunch of them from between my mom and then my great aunt. I have a lot of them.
A bunch of doilies.
Yeah.
Grandma has a bunch of doilies. She even had some paper ones that she was like, you could use these for your, parties or whatever. I'm like, yeah, probably. Put them in the stuff. Oh. Yeah, doilies were everywhere.
Yeah.
Or you remember those, they were real popular for a while. It was like a doll that was crocheted and you put it on the back of your toilet on top of a toilet roll.
Uh-huh.
Yep, so it was like the toilet roll was the dress.
Yep.
You remember those?
Yep.
Yeah, those were wild. And like just crocheted stuff. Yes, like there was a lot of crocheted stuff.
Yes, everything was crocheted. And I remember like where I was from, it was ducks. Like the country ducks, like
my mom had the ducks
decorated.
Like, it had like a blue blue tie on the neck or whatever,
and a bonnet.
Yes, the bonnets. She had a whole dining room was with those ducks.
Yeah,
I'm like, you've never owned a duck.
There was a house in the town that I grew up in, and they had two big ducks in their front yard with like a well, like a wishing well thingy. And the ducks was on each side, and every holiday they would decorate the ducks.
So the porch goose has come back.
Oh,
like you can buy a porch goose now at Walmart.
Oh, really? Okay.
My friend Tori got one, but
I might buy one.
She got like an original one, like from back in the day that she found at a thrift store, and now they're super popular, and you can just get them at Walmart. You just order them, and everybody's got a porch goose.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know about. I got a porch flamingo though. I mean, I have a 6-foot flamingo that's on the front porch, and a 6-foot Bigfoot in the front yard.
I want a 6-foot cock rooster,
Gary.
But those things are expensive.
They are. They have them at Tractor Supply. But they're like $300.
I know.
I wonder if they'd be cheaper at Canton.
Ooh.
Like, that's where we got the Bigfoot, and he was like...
you and I haven't been to Canton in years.
A long time.
We need to plan that.
Yeah, we should. We should do that.
It's the first weekend, or is it every weekend? I don't remember.
No, it's the first weekend of the month. First Monday trade day. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we should wrap up. I mean, this is a long, a long
Well,
one.
and well before we stop, did you roller skate?
Yeah, so my mom would take us up to the rink and drop us off.
Yeah.
And then the other parent of whoever friend group would come pick us up at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I would get dropped off on Fridays and Saturdays. Like Friday was only Friday night, and then Saturday was like all day.
All day.
All day.
Holy cow.
Paid
It's like
what,
free babysitting.
50, like what,
50 cents to get in.
Yeah, and then a couple dollars for drinks and snacks or whatever. And I remember, and so even to this day, I love to roller skate. Like whenever
you roller skate at Gamblin's birthday party.
Yep. Every time you have a birthday party for one of the kids at a skating rink, I am for sure there because I love to roller skate. And I'm really good. I mean, I'm still good at it.
I'll break a hip.
Not me. I love it. But there's supposed to be one being built here where we're at. And I wish they'd hurry up. And I know there's something to do with the city that's keeping them from building it, but something about a road or something. I don't know. But I can't wait until it gets. I hope they don't have to exit.
Yeah. The one in Decatur is still open, but I heard, and I don't know if it's true. I heard that they're building one north of like Alvord or something, somewhere that way. Like they're building another one in the Wise County area. But I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. So. Well, and I know the people that are building the one here, and I was like, you have got to have like one night a month or something, have only an adult night.
Yeah.
To where we don't
themed.
Yeah. To where we don't have to worry about hitting little kids and that are learning how to skate and all this.
Skating was like the biggest like activity that we went and did with friends. That or just getting dropped off at the mall.
Yeah, see, our mall where I was at, our closest mall was an hour away. So we couldn't.
Yeah, so you weren't doing that on the regular, getting dropped off. No. You figure even the skating rink was a 20-minute drive for us. So it had to be a group of people, and you just happened to have that one mom that was like, yeah, I'll take them, and another mom that's like, yeah I'll pick them up.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Screw the couple skate, though. I never got picked for couple skate. Not one time. Forget that.
And then they'd have, what was it? Hokey Pokey.
Yeah. The limbo.
Yeah. Backward skate.
Yeah.
I always did that one.
Backward skate, couple skate.
Yeah. But see, Kelly, my brother, he can roller skate really good too. And I guess it just must be because that's what, we did. That's what we did every weekend was we were at the skating rink.
Yeah, kids don't do that anymore. You figure kids don't really even do sleepovers like we did back in the day. No. I mean, every weekend we had a sleepover at somebody's house or at our house. Yeah. Every weekend.
Yeah.
Like from Friday when we got out of school, somebody was going home with somebody. And then you were staying usually till Sunday.
Yeah.
And kids don't do that anymore. Like a lot of parents don't let their kids have sleepovers at all. Yeah. But even the ones that do, it's usually like, okay, she can come, but then
she's got to be out of here by 7
o'clock. I've got to pick her up at 8:30 because we have this at 9 or whatever. Gamblin's had double sleepovers occasionally, but it's usually her going to their house, and it's because we don't plan a lot of extra stuff. Like we're pretty much homebodies, except for the kids' sports. And so when it's not sports season, which we're almost done, we've got 2 more games and we're done. 1 more volleyball game, 2 more soccer games, and we're done. And then it'll be, 2 or 3 days here or there. But
I'm glad
they don't do sleepovers like they used to.
I'm glad I don't really do sports anymore. I've had my time with that. So
I'm not gonna be sad when we're. I mean, I'm gonna be sad, but I'm not gonna be sad. That.
Well, you still have school sports. Yeah. I mean, I'm done with everything.
Yeah.
So
hopefully, Gamblin makes the volleyball team next year.
I just have to show up at Cohen's whenever I'm given the schedule.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess we have chattered on about the 80s and 90s and the good old days a little too long.
And I'm sure there's still a lot more that we didn't even talk about, remember. So comment on here or on our Facebook.
Yeah, like what was your favorite 80s thing that we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
This would be a fun one to get a group of people together and talk about. It's always fun to have that nostalgia.
Yeah. Exactly.
But y'all have a great week. Thanks for listening to us chatter on again and our shenanigans. We are on multiple platforms, and you can find us on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram if you want to follow along on those platforms as well. Like, comment, and share. And let's go on to the next week. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.